everyone, and welcome to the last week of our course. For this feedback video, we decided to share our thoughts around your hands-on experiences, as your reflections generated more questions for us, inspiring us to engage in our own inquiry cycles based in this framework.
For many of you, you chose to spend time in familiar spaces where previous schema had already been developed. However, revisiting these spaces with a different mindset, this time engaging in the scientific method, impacted your experience and gave space for you to listen to and research your curiosities, which has shifted as your perspectives have also shifted over time. Lily shared,
For me, this place is for meditation and reflection. It is meant for something different for everyone at different stages of their life. When I was a child, it was for making creek face paint and playing fairies, or walking my grandma's dog. For others, it's for picnics or time spent with loved ones.
for some, these questions had been previously ignored or not fully honored until approaching the space with the intent of listening and being open to possibilities. Jennifer reflected,
The crawdad holes caught my attention during this reflective time. The first time I saw one was a year ago when we moved to Louisiana, but I never did much research into them, even though I had lots of questions. Upon reflection, I realized I chose to ignore the crawdad holes a year ago instead of embracing the opportunity to learn more. It was a missed opportunity, and it contributed to my goal for this experience.
for others, the reflection questions provided an opportunity for empathy to recognize the interconnectedness with space, nature, and other living creatures. Amber shared,
I use these reflection questions to relate to the people having experiences around me. Because of this, I notice a lot more than I normally would in a large space like this and feel more connected both to the people in the space and the space itself. In your reflections, we noticed honest and real data from your experiences, which gave you the opportunity to engage in this experience without a clear path or predetermined destination. You were open to being led, or not, and willing to dive deeper based on others' perspectives. Arl reflected,
I brought in my spouse for his perspective. Although it may not have offered any more insight into my experience, it did not deter me. In fact, listening to his feedback encouraged me to showcase another side of the same space we were looking at.
You also placed value in observation to guide your experience and questions versus a known endpoint, living in the dissonance, which can be hard, but ultimately more rewarding and authentic, providing space for diversity of expression. Julia shared,
Viewing this experience with the scientific method, I was more focused on Chad's thought processes rather than a product or a conclusion or conclusion of thought or idea following set steps.
we noticed that because you were given the opportunity to choose your path of inquiry and who to include in that path, your questions and discoveries were authentic and meaningful to you and your experience. Whitney shared,
We want our students to have the freedom to think independently, and this new form of combining the different 5 to how many steps of scientific method allows scientists to have that freedom to want to learn. We were inspired by the goals you set for yourself and the implications they have for teaching. Renee shared,
however, the successful implementation of these concepts relies heavily on myself as an educator to prioritize observations of children's interest and my ability to integrate science in a way that is meaningful and relevant to children. By doing so, I can help students discover the significance and purpose of solving real-life problems through a more natural, unstructured, but guided scientific framework.
you also pointed to the importance of continuing your own curiosities. Kyla wrote,
My goal for the future, based on this experience, is to investigate topics for myself beyond basic research before I do studies with my students. Engaging with the trees in the way I did gave me a different perspective into ways I could structure activities around trees with my students in the future.
there's so much joy to be found in the world of inquiry, and Kendall's goal aims to promote this joy in her classroom.
My goal? Don't complete science for my students. The most satisfying part of science is often in the discovery. I vow to not take away that sense of satisfaction and accomplishment from my junior scientists.
We wanted to take a minute to share some of the examples of how you uniquely engaged in developing relationships with your spaces. We were in awe of how many different modalities each of you chose to create and express this relationship, whether a gift, a poem, a drawing, or a personal letter. We hope that by taking the time to create these gifts, it deepened your relationship with the space and your commitment to find ways to continue open-ended inquiry in your classroom.
Now we're going to talk to you about our last week in the course together. This week, there aren't any additional readings. It's really just a week to engage in a whole class discussion with your peers. You'll notice that you're not divided up into your groups this time. It's with everybody. And so here's the prompt that we're asking you to engage in. So we have some set prompts that you're welcome to use, kind of engaging in these three frameworks, and then also how might you utilize these relationships when you encounter a new framework, because you know you're going to. And then also kind of reflecting back on your relationship with STEM, comparing it to the beginning of the course and to now, and what do you predict for the future. If you want to share some goals that you have for yourself in relation to STEM, or maybe with children or with adults in your life. And then also, how might you advocate for children's encounters with STEM? Of course, if there's something else that is on your mind connected to this course, feel free to write towards that as well. And as always, please post by Wednesday at midnight and engage with your colleagues. Push back, question, ask. This is a really good time to kind of push that thinking by Friday at midnight. So, the class actually closes Saturday at midnight. And so if you have anything outstanding, if you have any resubmissions that you're wanting to do, please make sure that they are posted by Saturday so that we can be sure to look at them. And then also email us. Please email both of us. If there's something that you've resubmitted and we've not had a chance to regrade it, it's very possible that we missed it. We don't always get alerts for everything when there's resubmissions. So if you wouldn't mind, we want to make sure to honor the fact that you took time to go back and answer questions and to add to your work. And so please do reach out to us. And then of course, as always, reach out if there's any other outstanding questions. So enjoy your final week. We really look forward to reading your discussion post this week. Yeah, I'll look forward to hearing from you.